Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the treacherous waters of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your host and Dungeon Master Jason Phelps, and I am joined as ever by Robbie Chitty Bang Bang Bellekom, Sam Shitty Ray-Bans Burns, and Ellie. These aren't sunglasses, this is just a pair of spectacles that have been painted black. Sparrow.
Oh no. Terrible sunglasses. Or really good sunglasses, depending on your view, because they would block the sun more than any other sunglasses.
This, fun fact, this was actually a game item in the 1990s adventure game, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
That is a very specific reference.
Topical as the film's just come out.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
There is a new indie film. And I think it's like the Dial of Destiny or something.
Yes.
And there's it's a specific puzzle in which you've got to arbitrarily get a character something that fits like a series of conditions, and it's randomized which one it is, and there's like, a dozen different items, and you get them by going back to this dodgy back alley merchant and repeatedly trading in the shitty item you got from him last time for a different randomly decided shitty item.
That's a fun game mechanic.
And it's possible that the item that the random person you're trying to please, the person you're trying to please wants is a black item, and the black item, coloured item that can be worn on the face, because it's got like 3 different conditions you've got to fulfill, is a pair of sunglasses that the merchant says, "Brilliant sunglasses, don't let a speck of sunlight through." And he looks at them. "These are just painted black."
That is some dumb shit, and I like it.
Speaking of dumb shit, it's time for us to cast our will through the mists of fate time and demand future us what messages from the present. It's Future Jason with the present of a message. This episode of Flintlocks and Fireballs is brought to you by you. As ever, a massive thanks to our crew members on the Flintlocks Patreon who help keep this ship sailing. There's a wealth of extra content and bonus features for patrons, including regular blog posts, extra stories narrated by the cast, artwork, and a monthly poll for the community to help design an element to go into the game. You can check it out at patreon.com/Flintlocks and Fireballs, link in the description. And that's it for announcements this time. Back to you, Past Jason.
You know what I don't understand? Why we never ask future us for presents from the present?
Surely we have. Surely.
In 179 episodes, have we never done that?
No.
I would like a
always
present
want
from the
presents.
present.
Yeah.
That would please me.
You can ask for a present from the message.
Yeah. Present from the future.
Or also like a message from a present. It's like
That
a
would
little
please me.
box covered with a ribbon. Going, hello.
Oh.
Aww. I'll draw you one.
Excellent.
Right.
Excellent.
And on that cheerful note, it's time to begin Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Previously on Flintlocks and Fireballs, the party have, at long last, escaped the clutches of Rhea, the Shaper of Will.
Fuck that person.
One of the
worst person ever.
One of the sorcerers, or at least the sorceress echoes, within the Cirrus Citadel. At this point, the party have now visited. I just consult my handy sheet here. 9 Counted the wrong way.
Easily done.
One moment. No, it's -1. I was right. 7 of the sorcerers of the Cirrus Citadel. It should mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5. 5 wings of the Citadel have not yet been found.
I'm excited that there's so many to go, honestly. I'm having fun.
Yeah, this has been like a whole arc.
It's so
It's
fun.
a whole arc on its own.
I'm so happy
yeah.
it is. We're having a great time.
Some people would have not followed an extra-dimensional adventure arc with another extra-dimensional adventure arc.
We love
Those people-
an
You are
extra
not that
dimension.
DM, Jason.
Yeah.
I don't know how to break this to you.
Apparently not.
Try saying extra dimensional adventure arc after 3 pints is all I'm saying.
Indeed. So, to the amongst other adventures, however, while visiting / trapped in the wing of the Shape of Will, the party found their minds, memories, and perceptions thoroughly messed with. And upon passing the challenges of the Shaper of Will, she graciously granted them the boon of their damn minds back.
I hate her.
Yes. Plus a series of Magitech weapons and items that they stole.
And a new friend.
And also, yes, someone who, for want of a better name, we're going to call Shanti, a short version of the name Chanterelle, which was the last name that Shanti had the last time her memories and identities were reset by the Shaper of Will. So, joined by, once again, a small series of silver skulls, Jeffrey, who is once again a monkey with a spear, Marjorie, who is still a cockroach, and of course Victory and now Shanti. I don't actually know how many of you at this point stepped through the gateway. The light fades, and you find yourselves standing amidst the darkness around the edges of a campfire. Around you, the fading light of dusk, just as dusk turns to night. The flames crackle, smoke rises, and the world beyond the campfire light is hazy and indistinct. There's shades of sort of dusky blue and shadow, but nothing feels certain except for the fire and the ground around it. The 7 of you, if we're including pets, are otherwise alone.
Right.
This is weird.
Nothing's imminently trying to kill us, or on fire in a way that is unsafe. Should we have a little sit down?
Yeah, I was going to say that look, this does seem to be like a good and opportune moment to have a bit of a rest, because that was a lot.
I'm going to have
I've got
little,
double stabbed.
a little
here and here.
A little detective thoughts just nearby, see if there's anyone other than us.
Sensible.
As you...
Weirdly, I have loads of spells.
Oh yeah.
Actually, that's a point.
Haven't used any. I've used none because I didn't know I could do magic.
How's your rainbow friend?
The Rainbow Spirit is now once again visible and coherent, and is looking like probably a little shaken, but unlikely echoing Celestia's feelings of the moment.
How are you? Are you okay? How was that for you?
That... Ooh! Oh boy. That wasn't fun.
No, are you angry with me? I'm sorry I forgot everything.
Why would I be angry with you?
I don't know. I didn't remember you. It feels awful.
Yeah, that wasn't great. That sorceress is a bitch.
Yeah, she sucks. She's the worst.
You'll get no argument from me.
Hearing one, like, although to those of you without spirit sight, this is a very one-sided conversation. The Shanty, the half-orc in the plain grey clothes, just sits down by the fire, hugs her knees and stares into it without saying much.
Can I get you anything? Tea?
Chocolate? Chocolate.
Chocolate is usually helpful in these situations.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'll make a bowl of chocolate.
Okay. You run your hand around the bowl and thick, slightly alcoholic, very, very, very slightly alcoholic, like liqueur tinged alcohol appears in the bowl as it fills up. Shanty kind of takes the bowl and semi-automatically lifts it to her lips and drinks a little of the drinking chocolate. And there's a moment where she winces a little from the sudden sensation of it, but then takes a breath and drinks more of it.
Do you want to talk about it? Or does that feel a bit much right now?
I have no idea. Kind of... I mean, what is real?
Real's what you want it to be.
I feel like that goes against everything I know about reality, but then what the fuck do I know about reality? I've never been there. Are basic things real? Is gravity a thing?
Yeah.
Gravity's the one that holds you on the floor, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, then it's real.
But sometimes if you really want, certain people can make it go the other way.
That's a magic thing, though. Magic's also
That is
real.
a magic thing.
But it's still a thing that you're affecting.
Yeah. What I'm saying is things are real for a given sense of real, and things can be changed by some people, but some things can't be changed. So it's just going to be a lot of learning, I think, on that one.
Okay.
The real year is 1798, if that's helpful.
Where we left it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know some people...
This place is weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a few different times. I remember a few different dates.
Anything close to that?
Or before it.
I think I remember one time, a couple of times when it was just the years were completely different, and sometimes when it was way earlier, but hard to tell. I'd say we've probably been... She thinks for a moment. I mean, I guess the years have gone by more or less at the rate years go by. That like there's like fuck. I mean, there's like what 30. There's 30 days. Actually, let's just do some basic checks
Basics,
here.
yes, basics.
10 days in a week.
Yep.
3 weeks in a month.
Yep.
12 months in a year.
Yes.
Yep.
Quite right.
Regency calendar.
Yeah, we're on Regency calendar.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. So that's real. That's nice.
Yeah, some stuff is the same. Yeah.
Okay.
You were a bit ahead of us, where we were. Right, none of us know what the fuck a phone is. Oh shit, that exists. Okay. Got one of these. Celestia pulls out like an iPhone, like effectively.
Basically an iPhone. You
Wow.
have Irene's
this
iPhone.
is fine.
You have Irene's phone.
Yeah, I don't really know what you do with these, other than magic, I guess.
You shout
like
at them till they stop making noise.
It's like an arcane tablet or something.
I don't know, man.
I mean, if what I remember is at all accurate, they're sort of. I mean, they're mostly message spells. That's how they're meant to work, but they also you can. They've got spells built in. I don't know if they'll work if they're not connected if they're not, connected to the Skynet. But
There's this round bit on it. What does that do?
Skynet.
It's the wrong way up for comedy.
Yeah.
They're like on the button that you have on an iPhone is at the top, just it's upside down. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. And poke it.
I think you might be taking pictures.
What does that mean? What am I taking them from?
She
Taking them from where?
she reaches over and slides a few bits around until she gets the gallery up, and you see several pictures of this campfire upside down.
Ooh, it's like it's here but there.
Like a painting.
Also, you find
Oh, like an illusion. Like a minor illusion sort of
Yeah,
thing.
like one of them, but flatter.
she pulls out the thing, and you can then see that there's just a whole gallery of different pictures, including a lot of which are, and this is where it starts to get weird, a lot of which are of Alisont University, some of which appear to be of there are some technical notes, you would guess, you're not sure, others just of images of different things, some of scenes that don't quite make sense. There's probably about 60 odd images captured in here total.
We might want to copy out those technical
Of which-
pictures just in case it stops working.
Of which the last, I was going to say 6, 7, 8, 9 are pictures of this campfire.
It moves if you touch it. Celestia has figured out scrolling. How do you do a picture then? like a 95-year-old with an iPhone for the first time.
You need to go back. Right.
How do I do
you
it?
just slide the whole thing up.
What do you mean,
If I remember.
like?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
with your
like
whole
that,
hand?
Like that.
Oh,
But
right.
you can just use just one finger.
That'd be really rough. That doesn't know. Buttons,
No.
maybe a thing, but touchscreens.
Honestly, not even
Not even
barely
buttons, really. Oh right, okay. You don't need to be so harsh with it. Oh yeah, okay. There's the campfire. What are these ones? Oh, it's me. Oh, that's weird. It's a mirror, but not a mirror.
I want to see.
Come and see yourselves.
Oh, is that what I look like today?
It's
Oh,
kind
wow.
of backwards.
Can I do a picture like this?
I guess so.
Come on then. Let's
If you turn it sideways, you'll probably be able to fit all of us in better.
Jeffrey.
again. Shanty. Shanty? Is that still okay right now?
I mean, why not?
Okay.
Well, it's up to you. You get to choose whatever name works for you.
We can literally try a different name every day until one feels right, or every hour, whatever you like.
That I'm confused enough.
Okay,
Shanty will do.
for now. If it's forever, that's also fine. But
I can't really. I don't really want to decide my whole fate when I've just realised my whole world is a lie.
that's actually what I was trying to let you not do.
Okay.
So I think I said that wrong. The idea was you can change your mind at literally any time.
Victory stands up, walks over, and goes, "Shh. It's fine. Just take the picture."
How? What do I do? Shanty, get over here. Tell me how to take
Shanty
a
reaches
picture.
forward and presses the button again.
I pull her in. We take the first ever fucking selfie in Calcinea.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
At least outside of this. At least outside of the Shaper of Will's wing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a weird thing. You're like, honestly, the lighting's like a bit weird because you're like all underlit from the fire and there's like wispy shadows behind
Celestia's
you.
like frowning, trying to get the phone to work,
Yeah,
and everyone else is
but
looking quizzically at it.
You do indeed now have that image. You've no way to transfer it off the phone, but
It's like,
So is this round thing like an eye that makes the pictures?
ooh, like an eyeball that looks at you.
Oh, like one of
Ooh.
them. There's like a spell what does that, isn't there?
Yeah.
yeah. One moment. Let's roll for Shanty. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I remember making one of these once. I don't remember everything about how it goes together, but it's like it's like a telescope or a microscope lens. It focuses light into a small point. Fun fact: pretty sure microscopes have not been invented.
We're on the cusp at this time in history if we're
Let me just
comparing
double
it to
check.
like
One
actual
No,
world.
sorry, I take that wrong. Earliest microscopes were invented in the 1600s, so you do know what microscopes are.
Oh, right, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Microscope. That's understandable.
Huh.
Only vaguely. I don't think I've ever actually touched one, but I know what one does. So it's like that, but in here. This is very small to fit all of us in it, in a picture.
Yeah, I suppose
Weird.
that's how the magic works, right? It's sort of negating the need for big, complicated mechanisms and whatnot for all of the stuff that it does.
One moment. I guess. I mean, I don't think I ever remember being the kind of wizard that could that could program this sort of stuff. So,
You must have had so many weird skills in passing.
like, sort of, but I only remember some of them because, like, oh, it's weird. It's
There's a
like
lot of
when
things
I
to
was
put in one head.
when I made these, I knew exactly how to make them. Like how to use all the equipment, how they went together. And I remember doing it and making it, and I probably know a couple of things from the act of doing it, but I never... It's like I knew it, but then when I stopped being someone who needed to do that, I lost it.
Oh. I suppose that makes sense,
Yeah,
though.
Yeah.
Because, like,
So you've got a memory of doing it, but not of learning it.
well, it's,
So all you've got is the memory of doing
it's
it.
like Tamara knew how to use a phone, but I don't. So I think I get what you mean. I remember doing it,
Yeah.
so like I held it sort of right, but yeah, I don't remember exactly everything about them. It's not like that, is it?
It's surprising in hindsight how much I was able to just mumble my way through and figure out as I went. I didn't have any understanding of how half that stuff worked.
No, I didn't get any of it. I knew I thought I should be, but I didn't have any of the information that went with that person. I think I had one of these phones. I'm pretty sure I broke it.
Oh no.
It kept shouting at me.
Oh, the alarm?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an alarm.
Yeah, you just swipe the front.
You don't have to like set it up like a whole thing round where you sleep? Or like a bell that you ring, that's the other kind of alarm.
No, it's more like you set it to a time and then it makes a sound and wakes you up at that time.
Oh, like a clock.
That sounds useful and also terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like a clock when it dings.
Well, it's like some people put nails into a candle so that when the candle burns down, the nail falls, it makes a noise, and they wake up.
Those people are much smarter than I am. I just usually
It's not an exact science, but
usually my cat jumps on me these days. I miss my cat. I hope she's okay.
You can hug Jeffrey if you like.
No, I'd rather die. Look at his horrible little face. He'll tear my throat out if I try and hug him.
actually, that's a point.
Jeffrey glares up from the little candle he's looking at and goes,
You would, though.
sits back down staring at the little candle.
I'm going to kneel down and cast
Jeffrey, what have you got
primal awareness.
Oh, I was going to do a detect thoughts. Let's do the detective spells while we're thinking of it, because I've forgotten about that.
I want to know if there's anything within
Then
a
I
mile
have
of us,
something to
at
say.
least.
Yeah.
If I'm brewing
I'm
something.
going to do these one by one.
Yeah.
And then I think Scamp said something as well.
Yes.
Just that.
Yeah.
So you touch the ground, you let the pulse of magic go out. Okay. So the usual things. I guess not the roar of the sea because it's in a lead box.
I was going to say, because not attuned to it anymore. Okay.
Yep, not attuned to it, and in a lead box. So you don't feel the roar of the sea. You do feel the usual scents of the sort of piccolo trill of Fey nonsense
Marjorie.
from Marjorie. Nothing else, really. An interesting thing that comes to mind that you do feel, though, is that you're definitely not... you don't feel like you're on the sea, or or on the coastline, because your scent isn't going out to half a dozen miles.
Yeah.
It's not even going up to a mile. It's like it peters out around the edges, or probably 30, 40 feet away tops.
Jeez.
Oh, wow, okay. So, there's just nothing beyond that.
You'd say that your senses are going to
Small
about
place.
as far as the light touches.
Alright, that's weird.
So yeah, it's a very quick bit of feedback. Celestia, letting your mind sense extend as like a sort of a little gentle wave of sort of through spirit side, a little gentle wave of rainbow.
Yeah, I think it's like
mist that
30 feet out.
extends outwards for a
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, 30 feet.
Yeah, you feel the sort of tonal notes of the minds of the party.
Yeah, I don't dive into anyone.
Just no, but you just get that mind sense of hey, of they are there, and no one else comes to mind, as it were, right now. Scamp said a thing, I think.
I just wanted to know what Jeffrey had.
Jeffrey sat in front of the fire and staring at a small candle with a series of pins stuck into the side.
Oh, Jeffrey, you made an alarm clock.
When did you do that?
That's very clever.
Jeffrey's very smart.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Friend, did Jeffrey make that all by himself?
Wait. That's not one of our candles. You look down and it's not one of the candles that you have from the mansion. This kind of resembles an old, like a thick sort of classical timekeeping candle. Someone has etched a series of little marks on it for like hours past, and put pins in and put like quite thick brass pins in at intervals.
That's weird.
Okay.
Did Jeffrey
Let's
just
not
make that
describe.
right now?
Let's not describe. No, that Jeffrey can't materialize candles. That's not one of ours. Let's not describe anything weird.
All right.
Nothing dangerous.
Or like nothing dangerous, nothing weird. But if anyone would like to describe like a really big sandwich, like a really big one that I can barely fit in my mouth.
Lots of cheese, different pickles.
Or
lettuce.
Yeah, lots of pickle.
are we thinking we're in a place where, like, a bit like the Dreamfold, thoughts can become real?
Or a bit like that person's room.
The Mentalist?
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
Who?
Oh shit. So we're in a place that is not really outside. It's called the Cirrus Citadel. And it's basically I think there are like 12 sorcerers in the world. You heard of sorcerers? I don't know if you will have done or not.
Not really, no.
No. Well, there are 12 sorcerers.
Like,
And they all leave echoes of themselves in this place. Because they reincarnate, and they want to come and meet themselves. This is increasingly insane the more I describe it, but that's where we are. Yeah.
And you were saying, so you said there was this mentalist.
Yeah, he sort of, he used sort of metaphors to conjure things. I don't know how to explain
And
that.
you said he had a room.
Yes.
What was it like?
Had lots of weird stuff in it. Like lots of furniture and things, and a tiny cow, and
What kind of... Like a tiny cow? Like, just like on
really
the furniture?
cute, actually. It was a tiny cow, wasn't it? I'm not making that up. It was adorable.
Well, what sort of... Like, I'm realising I've not really seen a lot of things in life, so tell me about it, like...
What else was there? I mean, there were a lot of books. And if you opened a book, you could sort of go inside it. Into a different world. Like you feel when you're reading a good story, you could actually go somewhere, which was cool. You know, you're looking at me, asking questions, and I have this... I don't know if this is going to make you angry, but... This might be like a weird thing to say to you, but I have this weird jealousy.
What?
Okay, I don't want to downplay your situation, because, I mean, fuck me, it's terrible. Like, what she did is terrible, and... Fucking hell. Like, I'm not downplaying
Thanks
that,
for the
but...
reminder, but go on.
Sorry. But I don't know, just the thought of seeing everything for the first time. It's kind of really cool. And the thought of not being held down by anything. Like, maybe it's because I'm me, but I have a shitty family. Like, really shit. Without...
Yeah, just a bit.
Just a little bit, right? Without, like, going too far into the detail of that, because that's a bit much for a normal day, even. And, you know, I was given a name I didn't want, and expected to be somebody I didn't want to be. I was held down by that for a long time, that expectation, and I didn't look like this. I looked completely different, because it was how they wanted me to look, and... I was desperately unhappy, to be honest. And that's feeling quite intense because I've just remembered it all again when I had forgotten it. But I had to escape and become this and give myself a name. And
As you're talking, Shanti sort of picks up a bit of the large cut-up sandwich next to her and bites into it.
And it took a lot to kind of let go of all that stuff. And that might be horrible of me, but I'm slightly jealous that you don't have to... You're not held by anything. You can try as many different names as you want. You can start wherever you like. It's awful, it is. But it's also kind of fucking cool. You get to make yourself whatever you want.
But you didn't.
Did in the end. But that they wanted me to be, that's always there.
There's everyone else but Celestia. You see, as Celestia is telling the story, there's a shifting in the quality of the shadows and the edge of the firelight behind Celestia. And looming within them, you see 4 humanoid shadows. Coalescing into, I think, 2 of which would be familiar shapes because you'd have met them. 2 of which are distant, more distant, unseen, but with...
They have now seen Nivara in a mirror.
They have?
Yeah.
Yes, true. So, only one of which you've not seen. But you do recognise becoming more real, standing at the edges, the images of Quilena, Adrin, and Nivara, Rothnal, and a 4th figure with a stronger resemblance to, a slightly stronger resemblance to Adrin, but there's some of Celestia in him as well.
Little crow's nest.
Of a, indeed, of an older looking elf with, I believe it was red hair and a bit of a crow's nest. And remind me what colour Celestia's eyes are.
Light blue. I think his are green.
Yeah, his are green because Celestia gets the
blues from Nivara.
Yeah, the blues from Nivara. You can see, I think, Celestia's jawline or nose in him.
Nivara's got the jawline, so I think it must be the nose.
You can see Celestia's nose in him, but he has green eyes. And as she speaks and tells this tale, the colour fades from Celestia's hair, returning to silver, but to a drabber silver than you remember when first meeting her. It seems to almost shift back into tied up braids. The rock star clothing replaced so subtly you don't notice until it's there by a stricter, more severe drow black, traditional drow sort of outfit with the high collar, and little slashes of colour.
Like the split skirt situation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's more like a dress than what Celestia normally wears.
Okay, yeah, but then they all exploded into glitter and confetti and they were gone and not here, and you got all colourful and nice clothes and not awful weird braids and stuff.
Oh,
really concentrate and try and change it.
Okay, roll a charisma check.
I was going to start talking again and see if I could fix it.
Roll a charisma check.
I'm going to make it worse.
That's 22.
Okay, you got some strong will. So what do you say? Exploded into glitter and everything was fine.
They all exploded into confetti and everything was terrible wording.
And everything was fine.
And you got rainbows and colourful clothes and stuff.
Okay. So first of all, Scamp, as the next thing happens, I also want you to roll 2d100s and we'll just discharge targets.
No. Oh boy.
It seems like the moment, weirdly.
21 and 4.
You've moved all of the books to act as a temporary book press.
Oh, goddamn, I can go and get them if you
Don't
want.
worry,
I'm
I'll
sorry.
just get a magic table up.
I've got a table if you...
Honestly, with where we are right now, I'm going to go with Table Fables.
Oh, no.
21 and 4, was that?
Yeah.
Okay. Your choices are unexpected translation, an unexpected switch, or darkness.
Oh, no.
I mean, how bad does this switch feel?
Something will switch with something else.
This feels like a terrible idea, but darkness can fuck off right now, so I guess we're doing that.
Okay. As Scamp interrupts the story and tries to insists upon glitter and rainbows and everything being fine, the campfire seems to crackle, gutter, and then burst, and there's a sort of in the flames. And you do see some weird rainbow flames flicker into it. And then you see Scamp violently explode into glitter.
Shit, what? What do we
I said
do?
them. I said them, not me.
Yeah, you did say that.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Scamp, we're going to come back to you.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
But for the moment, Scamp, you see Scamp violently explodes into bright silver and golden glitter.
What the fuck?
In the distance behind Celestia, you see there are still 4 figures, 3 of which are staring out. One of which is now a shadowed, horned figure. And sat in front of the fire, in a not dissimilar sort of dress to the one that Celestia is wearing, but somehow worn much more stylishly, with brilliant cold and cutting blue eyes, and a distinctive grin about her face. Quilena leans forward. Trowley, that's not how it went, though, is it?
No, it isn't. Let me tell you how it went, Shanty. I've been having this thought, actually. There's a lot to that story. But the thing is, it doesn't actually matter. What matters is what is real. And she's trying not to look at Quilena because it's visibly shaking her that she's there. And the thing is about what happened with me is that I found my actual real identity. And the thing about identity, Shanty, again, looking anywhere but Quilena, just refusing to engage at all, and getting visibly fidgety and freaked out, is that there's this metaphor in the Underdark, right? It's called Grandmother's Bow.
As she talks, the world seems to shift around Instead of the darkness of the edges of the campfire, you are in a endless dark cave.
Like, Celestia looks like her heart is speeding up and the breathing is getting quicker. So there's this metaphor called grandmother's bow, and the idea of it is that generations ago there was this bow owned by somebody's grandmother. Nobody quite knows who. It was too long ago for anyone to remember. And after a while, the string wore out, so we replaced it with another string. The wood wore out, so we replaced it with different wood, and eventually it was replaced with metal because we learned how to make metal bows, and all the arrows are different, but somehow it's still grandmother's bow, right? Except that it isn't, because everything about it is replaced. It's only grandmother's bow because we say it is. Because we believe it is. Because we give to that bow the idea that it is grandmother's bow. That's why it's real. And the beautiful thing about that is, if you say, this is who I am, then it's fucking true, isn't it? When I was down in the Underdark, somebody gave me a nickname. Somebody I loved very, very much. They called me Stardust. So when I left the Underdark, and I decided that I didn't want that shitty fucking name anymore that they had given me, I decided I was Stardust. And I gave myself a first name that I felt matched it. Celestia Stardust. And I decided that's who I was. And I stumbled out of the Underdark and into a random inn. First one I found, I just needed somewhere to go after I'd seen the stars and realised what the fuck I was named after. For the first time, realised what that actually looked like. And I walked up to the barman and I said, Celestia Stardust, nice to meet you. And because I said it, and I believed it, it was true. That's who I was. Not who they said I was. And that's who I've been ever since. Because I say so. Because I say it's grandmother's bow it is. Because we believe it's grandmother's bow it is. And because I believe that I am Celestia Stardust, that is who I am. And because I believe that these people are my family rather than the other dickheads that you see here, they're my family.
Damn right we are.
Because I said so and because we all believe it. That's what's real.
You look behind. As Celestia kind of says this, you look up and you notice the stars above you. Stars that match the stars when Celestia first stepped out of the Underdark and saw them.
You know, when I saw these stars for the first time, I couldn't believe that somebody as lovely as Leah had looked at somebody as tall and awkward and gangly and horrible at the time as me. And had thought of those.
What matters is what's real, says the blonde-haired elf sat across the fire from you.
She always got it. And it was Leah and Scamp and Corzin who really made me see that that's true. It felt like a lie being Celestia Stardust for a long time. And it felt like my stupid blood relatives were the real ones, and they got to say who I was, but no, it was those three who helped me see that I had that power rather than anyone else.
The
Scamp back, because I talked about Scamp.
You do see for a moment in the background, in the distance behind, the four figures have changed. Instead of Quilina and Adrin and Naivara and
Peleus.
Peleus, thank
No,
you.
it took me a minute too. It's been a while. Dad's
Dad's
name is Peleus. Yeah.
Yeah, I was racking my brains. Violence and Vanity. Wow, what was it?
Peleus, you see echoes of a half of Corzin, of Scamp, of Leah, and with a sort of wistful grin, Marlon Brandy.
Yeah, him too. That ship was the first home I had. Bit late at age 30, but, you know. Better late than never.
Absolutely.
Waft of salt air on the breeze. And as you look to where Quilina was, where Leah was, you find... Oh, okay. You find three things. One is a small brass key which has three sockets in it, one filled with a small one set with a small purple gemstone, the other two sockets empty. The second thing is a set of 3 cards with writing on them. And the third thing... Okay. The third thing is a bow that appears to be made of old wood or maybe chitin strung with silk string.
Right. Any sign of Scamp?
At this point,
Yeah, I will have been looking
not
around
yet.
for Scamp. Like,
There is, yeah. We're going to get to what's happened
Was
to Scamp.
sandwich there?
okay.
Is there a sandwich?
There is a sandwich.
If anyone eats my sandwich, I'm going to be furious. Assuming I'm
Shanty
right.
has already started eating the sandwich. And,
Damn it!
Okay.
midway through the tale.
No!
And honestly, she kind of looks at it like it's kind of unfilling and disappointing.
When Scamp disappeared, did like any of their
Scamp exploded.
belongings go? Yeah,
Yep,
go
no.
with them.
Scamp completely gone. Everything they were holding.
I just sent a short message to Corzin. I was really hoping when I talked about Scamp they'd come back, to be honest. That's where I was going.
Yeah. I mean, Corzin, given what like the malleability that reality seems to be having here, Corzin is going to be spending this whole time trying to think very, very hard and distinctly about Scamp being back where they were.
You try and will this with everything you can. The only thing that remains when you look around, the rest of the tale, like as the tale comes to its end, everything returns to the campfire, and the darkness around it, with the exception of the stars, which
They
remain
stay.
in the sky, and on the edge of the shadows, the silhouette of Scamp.
I'm going to pick up Grandmother's bow,
As you pick up the bow,
which I assume it is.
it changes from wood. The wood turns to chitin and then changes to worked steel with sort of cams on it. The bow changing from silk to steel wire.
Or to effectively a bow that looks a lot like the bow that Celestia threw off a cliff that time. Yeah, probably.
And then, as you hold it and in your hand, and you kind of remember that and feel it, it changes again, and Celestia's appearance, her clothes, her hair, shift back to as they were, filled with colour and vibrancy. And the bow changes as well, turning into not an archer's bow, but a bow you might draw across a violin, made of a dark, with the bow itself made of some curious dark purple wood, and strung with rainbow-coloured string.
I have a weird impulse that's different than.
I mean, bows are generally with hair. Is it Celestia's hair?
I mean, it might well be.
Cool.
It looks a lot like
essentially
Celestia's hair.
horse hair,
Some
isn't it?
people who are very, very, very clever with music, which Celestia kind of is,
Yeah.
because she's a bit of a savant in this way. Some people play guitars with bows. I don't want to get the kit violin out; it doesn't feel right. It needs to be more Celestia. I'm going to have a go at drawing it across the strings of the. I hold it like an electric guitar, but draw the bow through it.
But actually, with that electric guitar, I feel
Electric violin, maybe.
Yeah.
Which are a thing, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they are really cool.
It's such a good noise. Oh,
there is something of the electric violin to the feel, and because Celestia is canonically kind of a musical savant, she can do this.
Also, she does play both the guitar and the violin. So, there is a level of, you could... I think the chords are the same when you play, a guitar like a violin, basically.
Can you roll a performance check for me, please?
Yeah. That is... God, what's my modifier these days? That's a 23.
You begin to play and you... Actually, tell me, given the effect you would like to achieve, tell me the quality of the tune you play. How you would embody that in a tune. What kind of tune it would be.
I'm thinking about family and us finding each other. So it's the Flintlocks theme tune, but it's slower and more sort of tentative. Like when we first met each other, that feeling of sussing somebody out, and then as it swells, it sort of gets more hopeful and stronger. It gets louder and more like a love song, but in a family way, not like a romantic love song.
As the tune builds, light, the campfire light flickers and gleams off the guitar and the strings, and a sort of almost like rays of rainbow light flicker out and over the silhouetted figure in the distance on the edge of the campfire's light, And it's like you see Scamp, almost like the outline or the sketch of Scamp filling in with colour and light. Not the Scamp at first that you were sat by the fire, a younger one.
Little Scamp. With a beard.
With a beard.
Yeah, with a beard on, because they'd have to.
Yeah, which turns to pink feathers and explodes and vanishes. And this Scamp growing physically taller and then sometimes shorter and then taller again. And with each step they take forwards, growing a little older, gaining some pain, some wisdom, some joy.
I feel that's reflected in the tune.
Not
There's
sure
an
about
ebb and
that
flow
wisdom.
of
Begrudging
feeling
wisdom.
to it.
Wow, my wisdom score ain't changed since this session.
Experience,
Well, you did.
certainly.
Meat wisdom as well.
Oh.
And as you finish the tune, Scamp
That last note just like
reaches
stays and
the
vibrates.
edge of the campfire. Scamp, as you attempt to avert this, like to sum up and avert the tale, you feel something. You feel your will strain against what is, and everything comes apart at the seams. You suddenly feel like you're in 1,000 places at once, like you're everywhere but the campfire. But the campfire is the only thing you can perceive. Like you're trapped around the outside of reality. Able to witness the story, but unable to act on it in any way. And you perceive Celestia telling the rest of the story, and as the bow is played, you feel yourself split up, dispersed and incoherent, begin to cohere again, like the grains of sand that are you pour back into the hourglass that is your shape. And as you take the final step back to the fire, you're you again, and everything, and you are once again a part of the tale.
Okay, I'm pretty sure we said something about not describing awful things. Where's my sandwich?
Thank fuck for that.
Maybe
Never do that again.
yeah, maybe this isn't a good place for like abrupt tonal shifts. I don't think it works like that.
Shanty holds
Yeah,
up
but
the
maybe
plate with
we
half a
also
sandwich
don't
on it.
describe your worst nightmares. Like, I know there was a good pointer to it, but what if they'd stuck around?
Yeah, I know.
Let's just
We're
be
not
thankful they
losing
didn't
you
for
to
the
them
moment.
again. That's not happening.
That was sort of the point. But you're right. I mean, once I'd started, I sort of had to carry on until it got better.
I know. I tried to stop it, but that was stupid.
Yeah, these things don't
You made some.
turn into a pile of glitter, no matter how hard you say it.
I was kind of hoping just the physical versions of them might, because I didn't know how physical they were getting. Ugh. But no, you made a good point. Well said.
It's alright, you
Important
are right, I
said.
did not do well for all of that. But I think we got there.
Yeah. And there's a lot of important stuff in that.
Do you think this is the poet's room?
I think
Could be, I
I mean,
suppose.
it doesn't feel like the sea. I gotta say that.
Yeah, Shanty, you were talking about never having seen reality before. This is not how it usually works.
This is not a... No.
Great!
Yeah, it usually works how yours works, to be honest. Yeah. You don't just, like, speak things into happening.
But, Victory cuts in, but minus the, repeated memory wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. No, generally not. Some of us have got gaps.
Says Jeffrey.
No, not you, Jeffrey. But, I mean, I don't remember half my life. Yeah. There's not a person before that, really. So I don't know how you feel, but there's echoes there.
Well, what?
And I gotta say, the important thing is you've got to choose. Not now, but you choose who you are, because if you don't, the rest of the world chooses for you. And that's hard to shake off.
What do you mean?
That takes work. Well, I didn't know who I was or what I was, and the world told me I was a monster, and that's what I believed. But I ain't anymore. And I'm working real hard to not think that I'm...
You never were a monster.
No, but the world told me I was for 6 years.
What do you mean by a monster?
The way I look, it's not how most folk look. And that people thought I was a monster.
Yeah, I mean, you had tieflings in your bit of a serious citadel, right?
Yeah?
Well, Scamp's town, they didn't have any tieflings, it was just Scamp.
Yeah. And I didn't know what a tiefling was. So, I believed them.
Huh.
And I didn't have a name either. That was just someone who was not bad called me once, so I took it and it was mine.
Also a nice nickname. Never really thought of it that way.
What was that? So you didn't really have anything either. You didn't know anyone, like you didn't know any other tieflings. You'd never met any others.
No, I didn't really have anyone.
But someone gave you a name?
Yeah, I was called a lot of things, but that one felt nice, so I kept it.
The world around the edges of the fire has, without your realizing, shifted again. You see the echoes of streets reaching out in different directions, and not exactly whispers, but like distant shouts and cheers.
But it doesn't hold any power anymore, that stuff. It did, because I didn't choose for myself. Because I was a kid, I still am, but I was little. But the moment I started choosing, it lost a lot of its power.
When did that happen for you? When did you start choosing?
Started when I found the right people to make me realise I could, I guess. It wasn't them giving me stuff that I didn't choose, it was them showing me I had the right to choose, I guess.
Sometimes you need to hear it from someone else.
And I hope we're the right people for you. We'll try to be.
But I guess how did you... I don't know. I feel like you, maybe I can see you now.
Yeah.
And you seem like, fuck, a little, honestly, like, a little scary. Like, I did, like,
Yeah.
you'll kill a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, no, that was a real complicated thing that I'm really trying hard not to think about, because, you know...
But also, like, you
Yeah.
took on her and I guess him, like, and whatever the hell was, you said a sorcerer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you seem pretty... Yeah, you seem pretty clear about who you are now, and like, and having that control. So I guess, like, I've got how you were like me, like, or how everyone else was telling you what the truth was, and like, you know, what was real, and how you've got to where you are now. But there's such a gap between those 2 points.
Oh, yeah. Like, I could summarise it for you, but it'll take, like, maybe 170 times 3 hours.
Well,
It's complicated, and there are a lot of bits where it didn't work, and there's a lot of bits where I needed help to make it work, where we all did. We ain't the people we started out as, but we needed each other to find.
There's a lot of,
I guess,
a lot of realizing you're wrong in small ways over and over again.
Also, an important thing to remember is that everybody, no matter who they are or where they come from, is always, to some extent, a work in progress.
Yeah, no one's done, are they?
Yeah.
No.
And I'm kind of scared of where I could go and what I could be. So I'm working real hard to be the person I want to be, not the person the world tells me I might be. Because the whole sorcerer thing, a lot of us turn out to be kind of a problem. There's a lot of power and a lot of accountability.
there are... You hear the distant... Actually, a distant rumble and then a much closer of thunder and a flash in the sky.
We're doing it again, aren't we? We're describing the things we shouldn't.
And you
But we're
can
not all that
see
way.
silhouettes in the distance. Silhouettes that you more closely recognise this time. Those of the sorcerers you've met, or at least whose echoes you've met. Amongst others, like you can see kind of elements of each of them. You said,
Yeah.
so you worried about being monsters, about
Yeah.
be it not just the monsters, but it sounds like it's not just the monster that's the monster that was, you know, what they called you for being a tiefling.
Nah, that's a different thing.
But
This
like,
is.
also you're afraid of
Yeah.
the monster that
I
is
am
sorcerers.
scared of the-
I don't know
No,
anything
well-
about sorcerers. Like, this is... I think I've heard the word sorcery as like a synonym for magic once, but
Yeah, it's a surprise.
Under
We
the
wouldn't put that in your world.
yeah, so
My magic comes from me. I didn't learn it in a book. I don't need devices and things.
You don't need spirits.
I don't need spirits. It just comes from from me. I think. I don't know, but I haven't always got good control over it. But I'm getting better. And some people in the past have used that power badly, and so we've got a reputation because there aren't many of us. But I'm working real hard in my own head to make that not matter who they were, and just to be, you know, me. And the more I see of them, the more I'm going, you know what, they ain't got any power over me. Really. Maybe the one who is me will change how I think about it, but maybe they won't.
As you kind of...
Maybe I'll come back here and bring sandwiches and books for some of them and, a big middle finger for others.
As you tell the tale,
I really wanted that sandwich.
You still have half the sandwich, by the way.
It's not the same when it's covered in someone else's saliva.
It, though, the distant figures grow larger, more towering. You feel like you realise you can feel, even though they're not, it doesn't quite make sense because there's no light really from behind them, but you feel their shadows stretching from every direction inwards over the campfire, as if the world is growing darker from the shadows that they from the way they loom. So they're always there. You've always got them over your shoulder.
It's felt like that, but I guess really the only one that matters is the one that's me. Because otherwise that's just what other people have said about them, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how is that different to what I was called as a kid?
Even the one that's you in another life with a different experience, with different family, with different people talking to you about who you are. Even the one that's you is not you. Like, now you.
No, but I don't know, if I find out that they had a really crap time and were a mess because of it, maybe I want to do better by them. Or if they were someone who did great things, maybe I want to live up to that. Or maybe I don't, but I don't think I'll know till I know them.
The important thing is, though, as you said, it's your choice.
Yeah. Corzin knows all about choices. He's a good one to talk to about that.
Was there
He went through a thing that lots of people went through, and rather than doing what everyone else did, he went, you know what, I'm going to do a thing that no one else has ever done that everyone else says is impossible. So, there's a man who makes a strong choice.
Corzin looks a little bit bashful.
It's true.
And I want to hear about that, but
Maybe not at this place.
is there? I don't know. Like, this change, was it? It sounds like it was gradual. Like becoming, kind of realizing that the past doesn't have power over you. That you're, as you say, the only one that matters is you. To determining who you are. Is there a moment where it came together for you, or a moment where you realised it, or a day where you suddenly looked back and knew?
For Scamp or for any of us?
She is looking at Scamp as she says it.
Yeah. Audio medium.
Yeah. I think it with bits and pieces. It was never one moment, but there are bits that just were different. There was a moment I thought they'd left real early on, and they hadn't. They came back. No one had ever come back before, and that was huge.
Tell me about it. What was that? When
Oh
they
no,
left?
that's not a good one. There are better ones.
I think you're wrong that we shouldn't describe anything bad here.
I
think we have
don't
to tell
think that's the right moment.
That's okay, but I think your instinct that we shouldn't describe anything bad might not be right. I think we can, but we need to remember that we control the story. but we need to tell it fully.
Yeah.
I've
pick your
not
mind.
Now we know that they're not just going to jump out the shadows and stab us. We weren't sure of that before.
anything true my whole life. Tell me things that are true.
Here's a true thing. I made a birthday cake, and it was awful. And I've never made a cake before, because why would I? But I made... The thing that is true is that a cake is a cake until it means something more. Cake's great. You should have lots of cake. We should do that.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But this was a cake that... That was a day that was different, because I'd never had someone to make a cake before. Not for a birthday either, and... Yeah, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
And building snowmen. We built snowmen once. I hate the snow. It's cold. It's awful. But they told me a story about how snow could be fun, and it was.
It's the first time I'd seen it.
They changed it from something awful to something full of joy
It was on my
and
birthday.
warmth. Yeah.
First birthday we spent together.
I remember that.
And I had a birthday. I had my first birthday not that long ago.
It is.
And it might not be my birthday, or it might be my birthday, but it is my birthday because we say it is. Because it's the day that things changed.
Snow falls lightly in flakes from the air around you.
Catch one on my tongue.
There is a in place of the kind of dubious looking sandwich, there is a platter with a familiar, kind of messy and not necessarily the best made with love and not skill cake, just as you remember it. And I'm trying to think about Scamp's birthday.
I got a hat.
You did. Do you still have that hat?
Yeah, I'll get the hat out.
Remind me what the
got
hat
this
looks
hat
like,
for
because
my
I
birthday.
like.
I can't remember the hat.
It's been a few years
It
It
was
was
in
the knitted
world.
woolen hat.
It
Like
was.
in
It was
our
the bobble
world.
hat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got you.
No, there was a birthday hat.
I got you a
Birthday
hat
was-
that looked like Jeffrey. And
Yeah, I was
Jeffrey
going to say,
a hat
I think it
that
was the
looked like
Jeffrey
you.
hat.
But that might have been
Yeah,
your
those-
second birthday.
Well, my first birthday was episode 1.
True. Very
Scamp's
true.
birthday is the day we met.
Yeah, okay,
we
yeah.
decided.
It's the
Yeah.
it's the
So we didn't do my
it's the
first
Jeffrey and
birthday.
Scamp hats then
It's
Yeah.
the Jeffrey Scamp
that
hats.
I asked for.
Those are the ones.
For somebody who didn't speak Jovan, that's Erical.
Yes.
I was in a cheat and I was just
Yeah, I
trying
remember
desperately to
now.
explain what I meant. Yeah.
These are the hats that me and Jeffrey got for my birthday.
Oh, it was
Jeffrey, put your hat on.
ridiculous trying to order them.
Jeffrey puts the little hat on. It's ridiculous, and there's this sort of crackle to the fire that speaks of joy and levity.
You want me to tell you things that are real. Reality is weird. Sometimes I want it to be different and it changes because of magic. So all you can do is decide what it's real for you about yourself. And you can't decide it for others.
This is about to get interesting.
Oh dear.
Okay. The distant shadows of these titans have faded. The campfire crackles, and above there are stars and falling flakes of snow. Looking down, you can see next to the... Well, Celestia has picked up the grandmother's bow. There is still the three... there are still the... sorry, not 3 cards. There's still the small card on the ground. 1 card, my apologies. And the key with the gemstone now has 2 gemstones in. 1 pink and 1 purple. And the cake is still there. The birthday cake is still there.
I would like to have a slice of birthday
I haven't managed
cake,
to have a
please.
slice of birthday cake. Like, I feel like one of us cuts
I'm going to
it.
cut
Yeah.
slices for everyone.
You cut slices for everyone. There is, like, Jeffrey dives into it. Victory has some. There's enough for everyone. Marjorie nibbles on a tiny bit.
Corzin will take one as well.
Shanty picks one up and bites into it, and it's like, oh, that's much better than the sandwich was.
Does it taste the same
My
as it did?
sandwich.
It tastes exactly as it did, but rich with memory. And
The taste of nostalgia.
yeah, and there is it's gonna be real weird.
Excellent.
What are the hats made out of? They're knitted.
I
aren't
think they were like knitted. Yeah, I think
Yeah, they
they're
were.
knitted.
Woolen
As you're
hats.
like biting into your Scamp, it's really good, except that your teeth tromp onto like some like wool or something in the middle of it, and sort of like, yeah, there's something in your slice of cake,
Ah,
kind of extricating
does
it.
this mean I'm king?
You are not the king
What was
of
that?
the
You found a
bean.
coin?
Oh.
Instead, you pull out what appears, oddly enough, like a small. It's like somewhere between like a little charm and a friendship bracelet, woven of wool with. They're not hats, but they're almost like in tiny form, like tiny versions of the Jeffrey and Scamp sort of hats, but like on the little strand, as well as a tiny sort of Corzin and a tiny Celestia.
Aww.
Yeah. This is a real weird one. So Celestia needs to mark down grandmother's bow
Yeah.
as an object you have. Scamp. The little friendship bracelet has Scamp has the Scamp thing in the center of it. Actually, yeah, because friends, there's also like a little woven silver skull on one
Yay.
side. So you've kind of got like 2 companions either side of you. I guess. I'm trying to look at them. For the moment, we'll just call this the friend bracelet.
That's my surname.
But there's something, don't know, when you hold it, do you put it on or anything, or do you just sort of hold it?
Yeah. I'll put it on.
There's a strange sort of certainty as you do so, like a it's more like a reminder of what you have, like a sense that the past does not have power over you, that you decide what is true about you. We'll come back to that at another point.
That key's changed. It had one stone in it before, now it's got two.
Alright.
Pink and purple.
Yeah.
Corzin, I think it's your turn.
Yeah, those are our colours, aren't they?
Yeah.
Tell us what's real.
By the way, you are all strangely feel filled and like by the bit of birthday cake.
Okay.
Emotionally fulfilled by cake.
Yeah, and honestly,
Often I
quite
am.
physically filled. And as you look around, distinctly less covered in blood and injuries.
Oh,
Helpful.
Nice.
You have not had a long rest, but your wounds are recovered.
Fit.
Okay. Good to know.
Laying an expectation. Anything that you could have recovered on a short rest is back.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Corzin, tell us something true.
Alright.
I think that's how it works.
I'm gonna look up at the sky and you said there's stars. Do I recognise any of the constellations?
I mean, there's always the boar.
Yep, okay. That's a good place to start. You know, I've travelled around a lot, and often you find yourself in so many different places. It can feel like there's not really a sense of continuity to anything. But there is actually some comfort I find in those stars up there. They're real and they don't really change. They turn, and sometimes you see different ones at different times of the year, but they're always there. And I think of the various different places I've been over my life and the various things that have happened to me, and there have been certain times where I thought things could never be the same again.
Stars.
If you want to hear something that's true, I had a family once, and it was torn away from me. I thought I'd never have that again.
The stars shift gently in the sky, turning to a different time of year. And you feel the sharp tang of salt and sea air. Clouds gathering on the horizon. Streets of a city to one side, and the oppression of water in the darkness to the other.
Yeah. And when that happened, for a long time I felt like I'd never be whole or full again.
In the distance, lightning strikes. Once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times.
But slowly and surely, I found that there were other things that motivated me, that I needed to achieve, to stay alive for. And I have a family again now. It's not the same family, obviously, but it doesn't need to be. I have never forgotten the family that I left behind. But I've also odd sort of a way, been able to build one anew for myself.
Tell me about them.
Well,
I've never had a family that stayed. I've had hundreds, but I don't know who they were.
Well, an important thing to remember about family is it's not always blood. Like, these people here. These people are as much my family as people I am related to.
Are you saying you're not my real dad? Ugh. But we look so alike.
I see the resemblance.
Uncanny, says Fred
No.
dryly.
No word of a lie, it would have been my honour.
Oh,
But
stop it.
that's just the point. We didn't need to be that to be family to each other. I have a wife, I have a son, and I hope one day soon to get back to them. But they too were a family I never, at one time in my life, ever expected I'd have.
Please, tell me about them. All of them, both families.
Well, it certainly didn't happen all at once, and I think if I had my time over again, there are certainly some things I might have done differently, but the first person, I suppose, who entered my life after the original family were taken away from me was my wife, Molly. She... She did for me something I thought no one else ever could, which is she gave me some much-needed perspective.
You hear
And she...
the sort of echo of a slap and feel it against your cheek.
Yeah, there'll probably be like a slight redness to Corzin's actual cheek.
And a grin from the short, red-headed figure, taller than you, that seems to be just at the edge of the firelight.
She was kind to me in a way that I had forgotten to be kind to myself.
Because you never did take enough damn care of yourself either, says a voice.
Corzin's eyes closed for a brief moment in remembrance. And then... It took me far too long to realise that a lot of that kindness came from the fact that she truly believed in me. At a period in my life where I'm not even certain I believed in myself. Then, some while later, my son, little Corzin, came along. And it's one of the biggest regrets of my life that I wasn't as present for him in the early days as I could have been, should have been.
The wail of a baby's cry, but distant, far too distant. The creak of boards, the crashing of the ocean.
3 bloody days in a storm. But that's one of the things that I'm really trying to make up for now. He means so much to me. And one of the things that I've said to a lot of people, actually, is that there is a world that I hope he gets to grow up in. A world very different from the one that I did. A better one.
Echoes of voices. Dad, look, I've never seen a ship that big. Dad, what was it like? What was it like in your last voyage?
I used to tell him as much as I could. It was precious, the time we spent. It's always precious, the time you spend with family, no matter what the circumstances. It was bittersweet. One of the things that I'm definitely going to have to wait until he's a little bit older to talk about was the time that I was wrongfully imprisoned and had to get very creative in making my escape.
What's that with the barrel?
Yeah.
So that's embarrassing. You had your little feet sticking out the bottom of a barrel, didn't you?
Yep. Like I said, about...
Sister gives you mischievous side-eye and really thinks hard about that image.
You don't have to. Corzin is like Corzin, from where he sort of sat, is suddenly like peeking out from the top of a barrel.
Yeah.
Oh, it's even sillier than I'd pictured, if I'm honest. Pleasing.
No, this is literally how I pictured it. It's excellent.
Very good.
I'd say I picture it on maybe a daily basis most of the
At
time.
least once a day, yeah.
Yeah, you got to, don't you? Sometimes you just got to have something to pick you up.
Well, you know, and also sometimes he gets big for his boots when he's captain. You've got to think of him, at a more humble time
Oh
in
no,
his
see
life.
those times I remember him in the giant birthday hat we got him.
I'd like to say that that was the first time in my life I had a plan I had no reason to expect would work, and it somehow did. But that would be an outright lie. Anyhow, there were many times where I was further away from home that I'd liked. And while it did all ultimately come together, I think that was, in retrospect, one of the hardest times I've ever had to face, being away from family like that. But in the course of doing that, I also gained more of a new family, and he indicates his companions around the campfire here. It's like, we found each other, and that was where, although I didn't know it at the time, things were starting to fall into place. Everyone here has done things for me I didn't realize were absent in my life until they were there suddenly. And now I don't rightly think I can imagine my life in the same way without them. But we came together, a crazy mishmash of people from so many different parts of the world. And after a series of even crazier adventures, we ended up all together on my ship, which had been my ambition for so long. And now we are all that family together. And our story's not done, not by a long shot. But like I said, we're all of us, works in progress. And one of the nicest things about family is that you get to be working together, not alone.
Okay. I feel like, if I'm remembering this correctly, there's something you got when you took captaincy of the Kraken's Bane. Might have been a spyglass or like.
Oh yeah, well that's kind of part of my navigator's tools.
Yeah, or like a. Yeah, there was something that was, special or engraved or similar.
I mean, because like one of the other things I technically got at that point was the letter of marque, but
Well, the Kraken's Bane flag, I guess. We got fighters to make flags.
yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think of things that
I feel like you got. Yeah, I feel like the spyglass was something you got at the time.
It might have been. Yeah, I don't feel like you had a reliable one before.
I mean, Corzin will take out the spyglass and hand it to Shanti and point out some of the constellations in the night sky.
And as you do so, you reach to find it, and instead you find. You pull out. And it doesn't quite make sense because there's no way that should have fit into your pocket, but you withdraw a fishing rod broken into.
Okay.
And as you watch, it seems to change. It shifts and transforms to old bleached bone.
Corzin takes a deep breath to steady himself.
And then changes again to. And changes once again to. I think, to the belaying pin you've held for so long before turning into the spyglass. And there is something that feels different about it. Like, holding it, you can both feel every wound you've taken, every loss you felt, and how you've healed and grown from each one. And you have a strong sense of your family around you and where they are.
Corzin will look to each of the other people at the campfire individually to, in some ways, not to like make sure that they're still there, but to like make sure they understand the part that they play in the story he's been unfolding.
And you can kind of, it's like holding them, you know where they are, like you can feel them there around the campfire. And two more distant, but somehow it's like you can't picture them exactly, but it's like you can feel Molly and Corzin aboard the gentle rocking of the ship. Like, you know instinctively that they are aboard the Kraken's Bane.
That's comforting to know.
Okay. As you do this, as you kind of hold this and feel it, you can see now, amidst the stars above and the falling snow, the edge of a beach, a gently lapping shore, and in the dim rays of dawn light, the outline of a golden archway placed in the sand just at the edge of where the firelight is casting, with a small lock in the middle of the door upon it.
I'm gonna stand up, pick up the key.
It's got a third stone in it, this time of sort of mixed, like a stone that's sort of mixed between a sort of in between sort of like a sort of sea green and turquoise, sort of brownish yellow.
Yeah.
Nice. Very pretty.
Super pretty. Do you think it'll fit?
Only one way to
Shanty,
find
do you want
out.
to try?
What about the card?
Sure.
What's on the card?
Yeah, you've never looked at the card this whole time.
Pick up the
Yeah,
card.
this is
Wait,
the other
what?
thing. Let's have a.
Yeah, there's a small
on
card
the
next
floor.
to the
There's
key.
a key, a
Let's
card,
Okay, I'm
and something
gonna-
else. Yeah.
And the
Pick
boat.
that up
And
and
the
have a
bag.
look at it then.
There is a small set of lines drawn in it, which read: "The night is long and silent. Eternity is stark. Memory when all is still. The candle in the dark. The road behind is gone from view. The road ahead no sign. So why not tell a tale to help us pass the time?"
Oh, way ahead of you, mate.
The voice finishes as you read the words, and you see one more figure sat at the campfire on a log. What appears to be a hobgoblin man in maybe his mid to late 50s, with a black hair but with streaks of grey, a pointed beard, long hair and a ponytail, wearing the thick clothes of some sort of steppe rider with brightly coloured patterns sewn into the hem of his otherwise sort of like tan coat, and has lent again, kind of held the box of it held between his knees, an instrument that I think only Celestia might recognise, but which I imagine Saran would in an instant. It's vaguely reminiscent of a cello in that you hold it between the box of it between your knees. It's played by a bow, but it has a small kind of rectangular sound box, a very long neck, and only 2 strings made of horsehair. You recognise this as a morincourt, a particular type of instrument played in West Haldanos. I appreciate it's strange to welcome you as you prepare to leave, but welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
I appreciate truth in tales. I am Erden, who was Nemosine, the poet.
Pleased to meet you.
And you also, distant travellers.
Celestia Stardust. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Scamp friend.
The victory, Kotzel. For the moment, I'm going with Shanti until I know where I want to be.
No rush.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet all of you. If you... I do apologise, Scamp, for the whole sort of wiggles his fingers and you see little bits of glitter.
Oh no, it was my fault. I did that.
But I must insist upon truth in tales. Not always facts, but truth.
I'd argue they exploded into glitter.
But
They didn't, though.
the telling is not
Nah.
the case.
I think I get what you mean. You can't just say the bad bits didn't happen because you don't want them to have happened. Because they did happen.
Nah.
You can think about them however you want, but they did happen.
Yeah.
It was one of the lessons I always try to teach my wife. She, much like you, would try to skip to the end, or to an end that she thought would be better. For a long time.
Wasn't so much that as like literal worrying about dying right here and now because we were all bleeding a lot. I get what you mean though.
You are of course welcome to leave any time, but while you're here, if you've got any questions.
I don't suppose either of us are you.
There's a similar flavour to me in you, Scamp. I have to say, something.
Yeah.
But you're not quite me. It's like there's a... You're not a... It's more like you're a rhyme than a repeat. If that makes sense.
Is that usually how it is? Or is that different?
It's unusual. I'm not sure with you. I know... Well, it's hard to tell with you, he says, looking at Victory. You didn't speak too much, but... But I would have. And I think that's the slight difference. I would have jumped to tell a tale, and I would have insisted upon the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it was, knowing that it would bear out. And I think there's a difference in instinct there. But this is interesting, yes, because I don't clearly recognise you as any of the others either.
Would you know for sure? Because a lot of the others said they wouldn't. They don't actually know.
Well, I as me, this me, the me that came here and made me, Erden, remembers Erden's life.
Yeah.
And I knew two others well. My husbands, or I should say rather that my wife's husbands. We were Turgan, Erden, and Gantulga, husbands of the great Khan Borte, who swept west and led the hordes across the bridges of ice we summoned, and froze the sea between Haldanos and Jova through Orsyria. We were the sorcerer princes who Borte married to conduct her great war.
Never knew if the ice bridge was true.
Of course. There are often seeds of truth in even the most unlikely tales. Although this one was just quite true. And let me tell you, a bit of a of a tricky deed to pull off. There's a reason it took 3 of us.
I can imagine.
So which ones were the other 2 then? You the poet.
I was the poet.
You said
Turgon was the dusk.
That was the dusk.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that one.
He,
What was the who was the third one?
He defended our dear wife from threats from within, assassins from without, and ferreted out where I would find truth to inspire, he would ferret out lies. But Gantulga, he I know to be the spirit of the smith, Yaktos. It was he who constructed, as it were. It was I who had the idea. I could say that I had the inspiration for a great magic, a work that would connect the continents. But I have to admit, Gantulga was the one who worked out how to anchor it, how to put it together and ensure that it would remain for as long as we did. I believe the goal was for it to last longer, but alas, that part of the design was not fully completed. We all tried to do as we thought best.
Did you all come here at the same time, to the Ceres Citadel?
Yes. We found our way. We followed the clues that each of us had left behind. For we were, well, brothers, if not by blood, then certainly by marriage and companionship.
Yeah.
Turgon followed her out of loyalty. I of love. Gantulga sought to forge a better world. Were we right to do so? Fascinating question. We certainly thought we were at the time.
I would imagine that history gives a different perspective on some things. Not necessarily a right or a wrong one, but a different one.
What we sought to do was grand, noble, maybe even good. And what we achieved was grand, arguably noble, perhaps good. Whether it lasted, well, that I cannot say. But it happened. We did things that no one had done.
That's familiar.
Yeah, it's interesting what you were saying about things rhyming. There are plenty of stories about, heroes, empires rising and falling that aren't the same, obviously, but in some ways they do kind of rhyme.
And the thing is, as well, the way you think and the way Scamp thinks, there is, as you say, a rhyme. You talk about, and I'm kind of half looking. I'm looking between him and Scamp as I say this. You talk about having ideas of doing things that nobody had done. This big bridge, nobody had ever thought of that, and you went, "Oh, why not?" The way Scamp is about teleporting. I don't know. When you explain it to people, darling, you're not like, "Oh, it's this big crazy thing that no one's done." You're like, "Oh, well, I'm just here, and then I'm there." Like you.
Yeah, well, I just needed to be over there, so I was.
Exactly, though. You accept it?
Teleporting? What is this?
Scamp.
Sometimes I'm in one place and then I'm in another, without ever being in the gaps in between.
They're
Well,
just sort
that
of
is new.
poof.
Never heard of that.
I was pretty old, actually.
Well.
Giants could do it. It's just that we forgot for a while.
But you didn't learn about it from anywhere else.
Nah, I just needed a thing to happen, so it did.
It's kind of always been like that, though. You need something to happen, and you... Some part of you believes it can, and it does.
Yeah.
And I don't know, your story about the bridge. Yes, it wasn't entirely all on your own, but without you believing it could happen, that wouldn't have happened, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You do need someone needs to believe the impossible thing can be done.
You're right
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in
we've got
this
a
group.
Corzin for that.
Yeah.
Though I would say your story has holes in it.
Oh?
How do you just forget how to do
Oh,
a thing like this?
I didn't. The world forgot.
Yes. How? That's a hole.
There was a big war, and the people who won didn't know how to do it. And the people who had it before tried to take it somewhere else and got stuck. Or they died.
Interesting.
I guess it was eradicated rather than forgotten, in a
There
way.
was a time in... Go on.
Oh, no, I was done. You carry on.
Oh, I was going to say there was a time, apparently, between the fall of Tyre and I think Petroleone, where purportedly nobody on Jover knew how to make concrete anymore. Like, it was a thing people knew how to do, but then all the people who knew how to do it died, and then people had to rediscover it.
I do also wonder, though, whether it
I
was...
remember that being a thing.
an
Not it
advantage
being
to
rediscovered,
someone.
though. That must have happened since I came here. So, well done.
Maybe there's a good reason. Like, maybe someone had a good reason for making sure it was forgotten. Maybe it was inconvenient to someone really powerful. That's the other option.
Makes a lot of sense, actually.
Well, I can just about wrap my head around
I wonder what the Kraken thinks of it.
one person being able to do it. If the giants could do it en masse, that changes everything.
It's no wonder they were
Like-
on top, actually.
Well, time and distance mean almost nothing if that's the case. You could... I mean, look at the whole situation between Jover and the colonies right now. Half the problems stem from the fact it takes, like, months to get there in either direction. If you could just... and be there instantly.
I suppose that's another way people could have forgotten, though. On purpose, because it was scary. Because, I mean, I've just done that, haven't I? Like, a couple of days ago, I could see the past and future, because, of the eye of the storm. And I forgot on purpose how to do that. I didn't forget, I put down the thing that let me do it, but it's essentially... I don't know, it's the closest
if
I
you
could
were
get to forgetting how,
If all the
on
people who
purpose.
knew how to do it died, like they stopped doing it and then they died without passing it on because it was too big. Yeah.
So how come you and I can do it? Oh, you too. Victory nods. Well, well.
Because I needed something to work, so I made it work.
Is it a sorcerer thing? But I should be more specific. I mean,
Well,
you
I certainly
reincarnate.
can't.
But you reincarnate, right?
Yes. Yes, you've had the talk.
Yes. So...
Wow.
Wow. The talk.
Let me tell you, relearning that was... I was assured by the echoes before me that that's always a bit of a surprise.
You can't use the phrase "the talk" and then say. You're excellent. You're maybe my favourite one thus far. But my point is, I'm trying to figure out how to say this in words. But if we imagine that
Does
you
the
lot
magic
have
remember?
been reincarnating and reincarnating and reincarnating, there is a version of you throughout the whole of time, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
and that
there was,
version
but
could
look, maybe there was
teleport.
one who knew. Maybe there was one that was a fucking
Yeah.
giant, and somewhere in you that knowledge exists in some sort of form.
The magic still remembers, even
That's
if the
possible, so-
brain
Yeah.
don't.
And
This is
eventually,
reminding
when
me a lot of that time I tried to get any sense out of Cassandra.
but like eventually,
Yeah.
when the right one comes back, when the right one who has the right kind of weird way of thinking, I mean this as a compliment, Scamp, comes back
Oh,
and believes it
entirely.
can happen, the knowledge is already there. Could that
Yeah,
be right?
maybe. I mean,
Perhaps.
But you have to think of it again. It's like, I don't know, like if you didn't know what maths was, you had to like
I'm not sure
rediscover
I
it.
do.
I don't know what maths. I'm absolutely fucking awful at maths. Leah will tell you. But
I have to admit, Gantulga was always the better mathematician.
I suppose
That
good
makes
that
sense.
somebody was if you wanted to bridge.
Yes. I just thought we could actually just freeze solid water. He was the one who went, no, pillars. Pillars and arches. That's how we're going to do it. If you want, unless you want the whole thing. Because my original attempt, I did try freezing solid water, and it turns out the tides actually produce quite a lot of force, and what I ended up with was a small flotilla of icebergs.
yeah, they'd float away, wouldn't they?
That is exactly what happened.
I've got to be honest, that's what I would do if I was building a bridge of ice. So I feel you. Yeah, I too would need somebody who could do maths.
I mean, unless you were going to anchor it to the seabed, and I mean, how far down is that?
That actually is more or less what we ended up doing for some parts
Hell,
of it.
that must have taken ages.
Wow. I mean, what little I know about
Only the bits
civil
nearest the shore.
engineering is...
Then it got very strange, and really at that point I just started following Gantulga's instructions.
That seems sensible. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder if the knowledge is somewhere.
Maybe.
I'm obviously not an expert in matters arcane, but maybe we've been thinking of this whole thing wrong all the time. That a lot of how we tend to think of arcane magic these days is like it has rules and predictable aspects to it that you can exploit in order to do certain things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. And seemingly one of the defining things of sorcerers is that they can take those rules and just break them. But maybe it's not that the rules are being broken, it's that the picture that we have is incomplete. And what sorcerers can do is something that has always been possible, it's just that not very many people have ever known how to do it.
I do remember Gantulga trying to explain something like this to me once, about how it was really hard to write out something about working out what the area of a circle was with squares, or something like that.
That wouldn't fit, would it?
It's called squaring the circle, in fact.
What?
And or something to do with, I forget it. He said something about quadratic things, but the important thing was it was it was possible, really difficult of you writing it out, and then some smart person had the idea of actually just drawing it as squares and using geometry instead, and it all got a lot easier. Anyway, the point is, sometimes to solve the problem you need the perspective to think about it in a different way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. It's like, if we take, and he pulls out Riptide. It's like, there have been lots and lots of things like this throughout history, but like the way that the metal is folded, the type of metal that was used to create this, like the knowledge to make something that does the same job this well has only existed for a certain amount of time.
That's actually not a bad metaphor either, because that's a combination of things, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
like
but
metallurgy and
I don't just mean knowledge, though.
Yeah,
we needed the knowledge, but somebody also needed access to the right kind of resources.
exactly.
They needed to be in the right surroundings. They needed to be in the right situation.
And someone
So
really
you need the
needed
right
to
brain
have
who needed...
a nice sword.
What were you going to say, Scamp?
I mean, so what you had was the basic material or the basic idea of the magic coming back, and then you had the situation of, oh, look at all those sharks, I really wish I was over there.
Yeah.
And then I was.
You had to want it.
Yeah.
Oh, I really wanted it. It was a lot of sharks.
Well, it's the same with me in this one. I look at the pride spirit with affection. Well, if we hadn't found each other, things would be very different. You have to be in the right surroundings. You have to be in the right situation.
I'm going to fondly assume you're one of those spirit-sighted people.
Yes. Sorry,
Excellent.
I didn't think. Easy to forget.
Well, nothing.
That's a good theory. I like it.
Nothing like a sit down, a bite to eat, and a good tale to pass the time. I imagine you're all feeling quite rested, and indeed you've all gained the benefits of a long rest.
Yes, actually, fantastic. I have a question. Actually, if that's okay.
Please.
So you said Scamp was a rhyme rather than a repeat.
Yeah.
Is that how it works for you specifically? Because you're the poet. When we get to the next line of your life, does it rhyme rather than repeat because you're the poet? Or is that not normal? Is it usually a repeat?
The one who came before me knew. There's a sort of resonance. And I've seen quite a few people in my time who don't quite resonate, who don't feel right. Some feel very wrong, others quite wrong. You are the closest to right, but you're not quite.
So am I not you?
I don't...
Or am I...
You might be me. This could be a me problem. I
mean, if it is a you problem, it's also a me problem.
Well, yes, it could be an us problem. I would...
Especially because I'm meant to learn something from the person who was me.
Well,
if we don't know...
If you are me, you're going... There's quite a lot I have to tell you.
How do we find out?
Well, I can't leave this wing. But if you're not sure, I think, and if we're uncertain, you might need to talk to the architect of the Citadel.
Ugh.
Is that another
Which one's
sorcerer?
that?
Thea, the Radiant. She lives at the centre of the Citadel.
Ah.
Speak to her. If anyone is likely to know, it will be her.
But there's not a way for you to tell. For us to tell.
It's
not a test or... I don't know.
This is the test.
We both think of a number and it happens to be the same one.
What numbers are you both thinking of?
3, 2, 1,
Pudding.
8.
It's pudding. I was thinking of pudding.
The best number.
That is a good number. I went for 8 because people usually think between 1 to 7.
8
I like
kind
that.
of looks like a pudding.
7, 1.
It feels like the same logic as pudding.
A rhyme.
A rhyme, but not a repeat. There is something interesting going on. And I am keen, and I am sure I am as keen as you are to get to the truth of it. Keep hunting. Find it out.
Will we be able to come back if we need to ask you questions?
The rule is generally, once you find your way, you'll be able to navigate the citadel freely. Within your own wing, completely freely. But you'll be able to change the position of your door so that you can neighbour one of the others. And we don't exactly talk to each other, because as mentioned, I can't really leave this wing. None of the echoes here can. They were sort of part of the furniture, as it were. But when one of us is here in truth, yes, then we can go and speak to the others. We can also move the door around, which, let me tell you, makes it a lot easier to get back in.
Yeah.
You can just move your door straight to the exit, walk out, go somewhere else, come back.
That kind of answers my question. That's good to know that we can actually just come back if it does happen to be...
Oh, it's a lot easier to get out of here than it is to get in once you've found where you belong. Unfortunately, if you and I are the closest match and I'm not getting that certainty, I think you're going to need to go all the way to the centre.
What if it's not you, but it's not anyone? Then what?
Then I think you may have uncovered an interesting truth. And that is always worthwhile in itself.
Then you could be new.
Yeah, brand new.
But, wouldn't that be kind of great?
Yes and no.
I get the yes and no, I do. But you've been so worried that you'll be somebody terrible and you'll have to carry somebody else's weight and somebody else's choices.
Yeah.
If you're a blank slate, then it's...
Hey, you and me, Shanty. Let's blank slate it together. Sorry.
Also, I get that it would be hard as well, though, because there's somebody you can't ask questions.
I don't get the knowledge.
Yeah.
Look,
I don't get to learn the history.
Yeah, and both possibilities have a lot of pros and cons, but at least it might be worth entertaining it as a possibility.
I guess maybe part of me is hoping for a legacy I could actually be proud of, because, no offense, Victory, but your mum sucks.
Yep.
Victory kind of elbows you in the ribs.
I know. We've been through this a lot. We were stuck in a room for a long time.
Well, what I would say then, and my gifts to you, are the truths you have brought with you. He gestures to grandmother's bow. What matters is real, and it is real because you say it is. Gestures to the friend bracelet. You decide what is true about you, and the past does not have power over you, nor any other. And gestures to the Kraken's Bane spyglass. You always know where that your family is beside you, and that you can draw strength from the families that you have built, no matter what you have lost. I hope those gifts and those truths help you on the journey ahead. And now, I think, it is time for you to take it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Needed this. I hold the bow.
Good luck, travellers.
And you.
And do you, inspiration. Mostly full flavour, but the rainbow spirit, like, makes his hair a little ruffle.
He laughs delightedly at the invisible force ruffling his hair.
Mhm.
And gestures to the door.
On we go, I guess, unless anybody else has any burning things.
Take the
Everybody
key.
ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ready as I'm gonna get. Same. You insert the key.
Insert the key.
It turns with a click, and as you open the door and the light shines forward, you step through into the next part of the Cirrus Citadel. And you know what? I realise that we kind of skipped an interval here, but I think we'll pick up there next time.
It's the right place, yeah.
So, thank you all very much for playing. Thank you all very much for listening. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs. Fair seas and natural 20s.
You can change the shaft, the string, the draw, till it looks nothing like before. But if we all agree it's so, then this is still grandmother's bow.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.